Hello, everyone. I'm Linda Moon, Director of Grow Kids Curriculum, and I'm here to talk to you about our winter discipleship activity and event from Grow Kids Volume 8. So, for the next few minutes, you'll get a big picture overview of what you can expect with both of these resources, along with some helpful tips we don't want you to miss. First, let's take a look at the Joy Drive, which is Grow's discipleship activity for the winter quarter. The Grow Discipleship strategy is built around 4 spiritual habits: spend time with God, spend time with others, use your gifts, and share your story. And if you've been using Grow for a while, then you know that every winter we focus on the spiritual habit of using your gifts because with major holidays during this time frame that focus mostly on what gifts kids might get, we do want kids to think about what gifts they might already have and how they can gift that to God and to others. So here's how it works. At its core, the Joy Drive is a toy drive. It's a chance for your ministry to partner with local organizations you believe in to collect donations to support their cause. So the first step would be to find a partner. They can be shelters, food banks, international organizations, or nonprofits your church is already supporting. And make sure you ask your team for their input too, along with how long you want to run the Joy Drive, how collections will happen, and how to communicate to families and members of your church about how they can participate. And I know the name is a play on Toy Drive, but it doesn't have to be about toys. It can be about collecting anything that can give joy to someone else. And on that note, don't forget that donations are not the only way to do this discipleship activity. In your guide, you'll find something called the Joy Starter that outlines a bunch of different ideas about how kids can participate. And maybe you'll have your kids make something to send to different members of your community or even globally, or perhaps you'll pick a day and pick an active community service you can do together. So make sure you ask a lot of questions about how involved you can get. Sometimes collecting items is enough, but if an organization invites you and your kids to help with packaging, distributing, or connecting with the community, take that opportunity because it'll be a meaningful and memorable way for kids to think about others, especially around the holiday season. And now that you know what this discipleship activity is all about, here are a few tips on how to make the most of this resource. Number one is to host a joy party, and we've provided a quick guide on how to do that. We don't want to end the experience when the joy drive is over because we want kids to have sustainable spiritual habits, which means there needs to be a certain amount of positive reinforcement to help kids remember that this wasn't just a one and done event, but just one of the many ways that they can develop the spiritual habit of using their gifts. So we've included this discussion guide to help guide the debriefing conversations, but bring your own snacks, music, favors, and make it a real party. Secondly, you might want to recruit more joy buddies, especially if you feel like you might not have enough willing participants in your ministry. Link up with other ministries or reach out to schools or even families you know in your kids' classes to see if they would like to get involved too. And number three, do random acts of joy. Maybe you're planning this a little later and you didn't get a chance to set up something with another organization. No worries. Maybe in the week leading up to Christmas or even the first week of the new year or anytime this quarter, challenge your kids to spread joy in small ways whenever they can. And the joy drive aspect could be about collecting the stories of how they use their gifts to share joy with someone. And it will be so meaningful and a great way to get kids to develop their spiritual habit of using their gifts, which is the whole point of this resource. In addition to a discipleship activity each quarter aligned with one of our 4 spiritual habits, Grow also provides a just for fun event that you can roll out in your ministry for outreach and fellowship purposes. This winter, Grow Kids is bringing you Merry Mini Golf, which is a DIY mini golf adventure for the whole family or your whole church, however you want to do it. So, how does it work? You will obviously need a large space where you can set up multiple putting holes, or you can have people travel from room to room. That could work really well if you don't have a large space or if you don't have a large space indoors. Or you can do it outdoors. Have fun. You want to recruit volunteers to help you design each hole, and this is a great time to get youth and college kids involved if they're available because, they tend to be not as busy as the working grown-ups in your ministry. And we've provided super fun instructions on how to assemble a bunch of fun Christmas themed holes for you. Check this out. This hole is called All Wrapped Up, and you can make everything here out of wrapping paper and other gift wrap supplies. There's Snow Day, where you can use fake snow and packing peanuts to make everything a winter wonderland. And depending on where you live, maybe you can use real snow. Who knows? We also have a hole called Wreath Jump, where kids will have to put their ball up a ramp and then through a Christmas wreath, which sounds both fun and challenging. Follow the Star, which is a nativity themed hole that reminds everyone what Christmas is really all about. This would be a super fun one to do and a great way to tie it in through the holiday season. And that's just a few of the ideas that we've prepared for you. But remember also that you and your team are super creative, so feel free to modify any of these activity instructions or come up with your own ideas if you'd like. But between you and me, why? We've done the work for you. Work smart, not hard, am I right? Speaking of things that are already done for you, we've provided a shopping list that tells you even more resources that you might need to prepare for this event, like getting mini golf clubs or large plastic candy canes for kids to use as putters. And just a little tip, you don't need one for every kid. You could just have one or two at each station. Kids don't need to be walking around with golf clubs. And you, of course, need golf balls. And see how many of these things you could actually get as donations because you'd be surprised with the kinds of things people already have in their homes that they're willing to part with. Also, we have provided templates for scorecards and pair that up with some mini golf pencils and you're ready to go. And here's another side tip is when you release to people to start the event, encourage them to start at different holes. Let them know that they don't have to all start at number one. The point is for them to get through all of them at whatever pace they can. And make sure you check out the event resources folder fully for more detailed instructions on how to run each game, ideas on how to decorate your space, suggestions for prizes, giveaways, snacks. We've even included a suggested volunteer roles and suggested schedules for you to check out as well. And now here are some tips on how you can make Merry Mini Golf of even extra awesome. First of all, you can make it a fundraiser because it's hard to raise money. We know this, and churches all need it so that you can really do more for your kids. So I would suggest that you invite people to sponsor a hole. Reach out to people in your ministry, maybe people who don't want to get involved creatively, or reach out to members of your community and local businesses to see if they'd like to sponsor a hole. And then you could collect those proceeds to help out with your ministry funds, or you could even use that to help you with your joy drive. See, everything connects. Second tip is to add a raffle. Raffles are big. People love doing them at golf tournaments, or so I'm told. But you can use this as a tool for engagement. So you can ask people to turn in their completed golf scorecards, and they can only get a prize if they complete everything. So it encourages people to stay the entire time. And you can maybe ask for donations for people to bring in some really cool items that people would want to stick around for. And finally, teach the Christmas story. You can share a bit of the Christmas story at each hole. So, whether it's having a volunteer standing there reading a passage or linking up the passage somehow to a QR code so leaders can just scan them or families can just scan them on their phones, or providing little activity sheets for kids to do at each hole as they're waiting for their turn. There's a bunch of different ways that you can make the Christmas story come alive, even at a super fun event, just for fun event like this. And that was a quick look at the discipleship and events from Grow Kids for this winter. You know, we love hearing from you and seeing what you do. So make sure you tag us in your photos on Instagram at Stuff You Can Use and drop by our Facebook group. You can search for Stuff You Can Use, a children's ministry community, and find us there. Thanks for watching. Bye.